Imagine standing in a room where the air suddenly feels heavy with anticipation, only for a single human voice to shatter every preconceived notion you've ever held about talent and appearance. Tonight, we're tracking a story that has crossed the Atlantic and landed squarely in the hearts of the American public: the inexplicable and powerful resurgence of Jonathan Antoine. For those who don't recall, Jonathan was the teenager who delivered what many consider the single most impactful audition in the history of televised talent competitions. But the news isn't just that he's singing, it's the manner in which he's returned. This holiday season, reports are flooding in from concert halls across the United States about a vocal performance so pure it's being described as a national healing. But behind the standing ovations lies a narrative of a man who was nearly erased by the very industry that claimed to discover him. We are looking at a performer who has defied the one-hit wonder curse that plagues so many reality stars. As he travels through major U.S. cities this Christmas, the data shows his engagement levels are rivaling mainstream pop stars, yet he operates in a lane entirely his own. This isn't just a comeback, it's a total reimagining of a global brand. People are showing up not just for the music, but to see the survivor of a media circus that once tried to dictate his every move. He's transitioned from a viral curiosity into a legitimate musical titan, and the American audience is currently obsessed with the mystery of where he's been and how he managed to evolve so drastically in total silence. As we dig deeper into his recent movements, a much more complex picture begins to emerge, one that involves a battle for his own identity. While the world saw a rising star in 2012, our investigative look into Jonathan's early years reveals a young man who was fighting a war within his own mind, one that almost resulted in him leaving the stage forever. Before the fame, Jonathan dealt with extreme cases of social exclusion and what insiders describe as a shattering lack of self-worth. In our research, it's been noted that the pressure of his early life led to a period where he almost opted out of his own career due to the weight of public expectation. During his teenage years, the bullying was so severe that it left lasting psychological scars, leading to what he has since described as a dark cloud that followed him even as he became a household name. He has been remarkably candid about his struggles with his mental state, using indirect terms to describe the moments he felt he couldn't go on. This wasn't just typical stage fright. It was a profound battle for his well-being that the cameras chose to ignore in favor of a feel-good narrative. There were whispers in the industry that his departure from the mainstream spotlight years ago wasn't due to a lack of interest, but a necessary retreat for self-preservation. He had to step away from the flashing lights to ensure he didn't succumb to the same pressures that have claimed so many young talents before him. His journey through the mental health system and his ultimate triumph over those internal demons is what makes his current U.S. tour so poignant. When he stands on stage today, viewers aren't just hearing a tenor. They are hearing a man who survived the unthinkable and found a reason to use his gift again. The story of his mental fortitude is arguably more impressive than his high C, and it's a chapter of his life that is finally being told with the respect it deserves. But the mystery of his physical change was the next shock to hit the headlines. There is a moment in every superstar's life where they are forced to choose between their soul and their paycheck, and for Jonathan, that moment happened under the cold, clinical glare of a multi-million-dollar television set. We are revisiting the infamous Cowell Ultimatum, a moment where a powerful executive publicly suggested that Jonathan should abandon his singing partner, Charlotte, to pursue a solo career. From a news perspective, this was a high-stakes corporate gamble. The industry giants saw marketability in Jonathan alone, but they underestimated the young man's ironclad loyalty. His refusal to betray his friend for a more lucrative contract sent shockwaves through the entertainment business at the time. It was a move that many thought would end his career before it truly began. Why would a teenager say no to the most powerful man in music? Our analysis suggests this was the first sign of the independent spirit that would later define his 2025 American tour. He chose a path of integrity over the manufactured route, which led to a complex relationship with major labels. Reports from that era suggest that because he wouldn't play the game, he was often sidelined in favor of more compliant artists. This forced him into a do-it-yourself model long before it was trendy for artists to go independent. The friction between Jonathan's artistic vision and the pop opera machine is a classic tale of David versus Goliath. He wasn't interested in being a puppet, and that independence is exactly why he's able to command such massive, loyal audiences today without the backing of a traditional studio powerhouse. He built his own kingdom, but the cost of that independence was a period of disappearance that left fans wondering if he had retired for good, until the recent sightings in the States changed everything. If you were to look at a photograph of Jonathan Antoine from 5 years ago alongside a snapshot from his current U.S. tour, you would swear you were looking at two different people. The headlines regarding his physical evolution have been nothing short of explosive, with many calling it one of the most dramatic transformations in the history of the music industry. Our reports indicate that Jonathan has undergone a massive lifestyle shift, resulting in a significant drop in his physical profile that has left audiences stunned. But this isn't just about aesthetics. It's about a man finally taking control of a body that he once felt was a burden. Speculation has run rampant online. Some have questioned if he used medical interventions, while others point to a grueling discipline born out of his newfound mental clarity. What we know is that he has emerged looking more like a leading man than the character actor, image, the media forced upon him a decade ago. This new Jonathan is lean, confident, and carries himself with a poise that was previously hidden under layers of insecurity. This transformation has actually changed the way his voice resonates, leading to a richer, more mature sound that music critics are calling his golden era. The shock of his appearance often acts as the perfect hook for his concerts. The audience gasps when he walks out, and then they are brought to tears when he begins to sing. It's a double threat of visual and auditory surprise that has made his Christmas tour the must-see event of the year. However, with this new look came new rumors, as some worried the rapid change might have affected his stamina. But as the tour continues through the grueling winter schedule, he's proving the doubters wrong with every performance, leading many to wonder what sparked this sudden, intense change of heart. While the United Kingdom may have been where he was discovered, it is the United States that is currently crowning him as the definitive voice of the modern era. We are tracking a massive surge in Antoine-mania across the American Midwest and East Coast this December, a phenomenon that has caught industry analysts off guard. Why now? And why America? Our findings suggest that the U.S. audience has a unique craving for authentic talent that hasn't been overpolished by the Hollywood machine. His Beyond the Bible project and his latest holiday recordings have tapped into a cultural desire for something substantial amidst a sea of digital noise. Reports from his recent shows in cities like Chicago and New York describe a palpable emotional connection between the singer and the crowd, an intimacy that is rare for a performer of his vocal scale. Social media metrics show that clips of his American performances are being shared at a rate 400% higher than his previous European tour, suggesting a viral explosion that is fueling ticket sales. There is also a mysterious element to his U.S. presence. He isn't doing the traditional talk show circuit, choosing instead to let the voice speak for itself in smaller, high-end venues. This exclusive feel has created a massive demand, with tickets appearing on secondary markets for shocking prices. It's a Christmas miracle for his management team, but for the fans, it feels like a long-overdue coronation. As he moves toward the final dates of his tour, the question isn't whether he's a star, it's how much bigger this second act can actually get. He's no longer a BGT contestant in the eyes of Americans. He is a world-class tenor who has finally found a home that appreciates the weight of his talent. Yet even with this success, whispers of a final curtain or a major pivot continue to haunt the headlines. As the final echoes of "O Holy Night" fade into the rafters of his final tour stops, a new question hangs in the air. Is this the peak of Jonathan Antoine, or are we witnessing the beginning of a total industry takeover? The story of the boy who was told he'd never make it without a partner has officially been rewritten as the story of a man who redefined what it means to be a modern classical artist. Our final analysis of his 2025 trajectory suggests that Jonathan is preparing for a move into even more controversial territory, possibly blending his classical roots with a more contemporary, cinematic sound that could alienate purists but captivate a whole new generation. There are also unconfirmed rumors regarding a major film project, a biopic that would expose the darker elements of his rise to fame and the accusations he faced from those who tried to control his image. Whether he continues to dominate the U.S. stage or retreats back into a period of creative silence, one thing is clear. The voice that touched hearts this Christmas is a voice that has been tempered in fire. He has survived the bullying, the corporate pressure, and the personal health battles to become something truly singular. As viewers look back on this holiday season, they won't just remember the songs, they'll remember the man who looked the industry in the eye and refused to blink. It's a powerful reminder that the most unlikely among us can often become the most unforgettable. But as we look toward the new year, we have to ask ourselves, in a world that constantly tries to change us, how many of us have the courage to stay as true to our path as the man who was almost silenced?